A couple is on a long drive together, a trip that feels like it may never end. The story begins with Sarah, Henry's soon-to-be wife. Today, Henry is taking her to her father's house in Las Vegas, and to spend more time together, they decided to drive instead of fly. They talk, laugh, and enjoy the journey until suddenly something slams into their car. The impact forces the vehicle off the road and down a small slope. Henry gets out to check what they hit, but there's nothing. No animal, no debris, nothing at all. Even the tires are perfectly fine. Confused, they shrug it off and continue driving. After a while, Henry notices something unsettling. A black Mustang trailing them, getting closer and faster. He mentions it to Sarah, but she brushes it off, saying maybe it's just some idiot trying to race. Just speed up, she tells him. Henry does exactly that and signals the Mustang to pass. But the car doesn't pass. It stays right behind them. And that's when both of them begin to feel the first real wave of fear. Just then, a gas station appears on the side of the road. Henry immediately pulls in, forcing the black Mustang to drive past them. Sarah doesn't want to stop. She wants to reach her father as soon as possible. But Henry insists that since they're already here, they should at least grab something to eat. Sarah reluctantly agrees, and they sit inside the small roadside cafe. While talking, Henry quietly asks Sarah if she thinks they might be rushing into marriage. He reminds her that her father's health is getting worse, and maybe they should slow things down. Sarah doesn't like that comment at all. She wants the wedding to happen soon, not later. Before the conversation can turn ugly, a waitress walks up. Henry quickly says they'll just take some water for now and decide the rest of the order later. She places a water bottle on their table along with a few coins. When Henry asks about them, she explains it's a local tradition. Customers use those coins in the old jukebox to play any song they want. As she walks away, she mutters under her breath, "Make the most of your time. Very few living people ever come here anymore." Henry doesn't hear her, but we did. And that strange line hints that this cafe is tied to something much darker in their story. Henry takes the coins and walks over to the jukebox, picking one of his own songs. As the music fills the quiet diner, we cut outside, and there it is again. The same black Mustang parked right outside, and inside it the same exact song is playing. Back at the table, Sarah tells the waitress that the song is actually sung by Henry himself. The waitress is impressed and compliments him. After grabbing their takeout, Henry and Sarah head back to the car. They still have a long drive ahead. This time, Sarah is behind the wheel. Sarah kept her full attention on the road, but once again something came under their car, and the moment they realized it, both of them got scared. Sarah insisted that her eyes were completely on the road. She did not see anyone or anything come in front of them. And he said he would go check. Maybe this time something really had come under the car. Meanwhile, back at the cafe, we see the owner. Kelly walks up to him and tells him that the couple just left. She asks, "Do we need to do the same thing with them too?" A girl sitting nearby says, "Let them go. It's not their fault." But the owner disagrees. He points out the girl's injured hand and the tears in her eyes. Clearly, she is dealing with something serious. Out on the road, the couple begins fighting with each other out of frustration. They were tired of everything happening to them. Now, even Sarah was irritated because she felt they weren't moving forward at all. Instead, they were somehow ending up back at the same spot where they had stopped the first time. Henry refuses to believe her, saying that it's impossible. Just then, Sarah notices the same black car standing behind them again. She walks to the car and asks him to roll the window down. The moment she sees the man inside, she freezes. He looked like some kind of demon. Terrified, Sarah runs back to her car and speeds away as fast as she can. But only a short time later, their car runs out of fuel. They cannot keep going. So she turns the car around and stops right back in front of the cafe again, and the black Mustang drives past once more. The moment they enter the cafe, Sarah quickly asks Kelly if they can use her phone. Kelly says yes, of course. Sarah steps outside and immediately calls the police. She explains that a car has been following them for a long time, and inside it is a strange-looking man. The police ask her for their exact location and tell her it will take a few hours to reach them. They advise her to stay exactly where she is until then. During this moment, a shocking truth is revealed. The phone call Sarah made was not to the police. It actually connected to John, the owner of the cafe. But why would he do that? Henry and Sarah ask Kelly for another coin, but this time she refuses. She says the coin is only given once. Then Rubika, who is sitting nearby, says, "Wait, I have one. I'll go get it from my car." But before she can step outside, John suddenly comes out and stops her. Henry then explains everything that's been happening, how a strange man on the road has been following them for a long time. John stays calm and tells him it could just be a crazy person trying to scare them. Hearing this, Henry snaps at him. He yells that this is no joke. That man is trying to kill them. John tells Henry to calm down and even offers them a place to stay, assuring them they are not alone here and they are safe with everyone else inside the cafe. Henry asks him how they even ended up back here again. John explains that there's a loop on the road, and it's possible they drove straight into it without noticing, causing them to return to the same spot. Just then, Sarah comes in from outside and tells them she called the police and they'll reach them in a few hours. John sits them down and starts talking about Rubika, saying she's a daily customer but mentally unstable. He tells them not to worry, saying they're used to her behavior and soon Henry and Sarah will get used to it too. Then he hands Sarah a coin. She takes it and walks off to call her dad. Now the call connects, but Sarah's dad only says one thing, that he is waiting for her. Before she can say anything else, there is too much noise on the call. Meanwhile, we see John taking Rubika behind the cafe toward room 17. Rubika says she is not ready, but John tells her that the more she refuses, the worse things will get. She cries and says, "The creature you are feeding will never be full." But John doesn't listen. He pushes her inside the room and locks the door from outside. Here, Henry and Sarah finish their food. Chef Mark brings the bill, but John takes it and says their food is free. On the bill, just one word is written, "Run." Sarah now feels something is very wrong. Since the time they arrived, the sunlight hasn't changed at all. It looks like time is stuck. John comes again and says their room is ready. They should go and rest. Sarah asks him if anyone else ever complained about the black car. John ignores it, but Sarah gets shocked when he calls her by her name. Because Henry never used her real name, he always calls her baby. Just then, she sees a girl in the next room, silently asking for help. She shows Henry too. Both understand something is wrong. John keeps telling them to come inside, but they don't listen. They run back to their car, sit inside, and drive away from that cafe as fast as they can. Even though John chased after them, he couldn't catch them. Mark and Callie rushed outside and asked, "Boss, what happened?" John snapped in anger. "If those two survive, neither of you will." Callie tried to argue, saying they should help the couple, but John only got angrier. They're already dead. Helping them won't change anything. Meanwhile, on the roadside, that same man wearing black appeared again. Sarah pointed at him and told Henry, "That's the same guy I saw in the black car." Henry stiffened. "I swear we're being hunted. And that cafe owner knows everything, but he didn't help us." Back at the cafe, Mark came out of Rubika's room carrying her things. But now he felt guilty. His conscience wasn't letting him continue. He approached John and said they should stop doing this. But John simply replied, "This is our job. This is how everything works. And it will continue the same way." Out on the road, Henry and Sarah were speeding away. Suddenly, Sarah's phone rang. It was her dad. She picked up, but instead of his voice, strange, distorted noises came through. The same sounds echoed through the car radio too. Before they could react, something hit the bottom of the car again. But this time it didn't stop. Henry pushed the speed higher. Moments later, behind them, that same black Mustang appeared once again. It was chasing them like a predator. They kept driving as fast as they could. But after a while, something terrifying happened. They saw the same cafe again. Exactly the same one. Outside the cafe, John, Mark, and Callie stood watching them. Mark whispered, "I think they might actually survive this time. They're fighting back." But John didn't believe that at all. Suddenly, Sarah slammed the brakes, and the black Mustang shot ahead of them. Henry swung the car around, and they sped off in the opposite direction. A few minutes later, when they checked the rearview mirror, the Mustang was gone. But Henry noticed something even stranger. Ever since they left, the time on the dashboard hadn't changed. They had been driving for hours, yet the clock showed the same minute and second. Sarah feared they were stuck on the same road again and again, trapped in some kind of loop. They kept driving, swapping seats every few hours, but after a while Sarah shook Henry awake. She felt something was wrong. She said it felt like they had driven this highway thousands of times already. Henry checked the fuel gauge. It hadn't moved an inch. He knew now this had to be a loop created by the cafe people, and the only way to break it was to leave the road entirely and head into the desert on foot. Sarah didn't like the idea. The heat would destroy them. But Henry promised he would protect her, no matter what. So they got out of the car and started walking. Back at the cafe, Callie told Mark they needed to help them. She was worried about the baby Sarah was carrying. Yes, Sarah was pregnant. But Mark said he had tried helping many times before, and it never worked. Out in the desert, Sarah and Henry walked far enough to find a flipped car covered in blood. When they got closer, they realized it was their car. Henry understood instantly. They had died inside this loop. Sarah broke down crying. A short distance away, the man in black watched everything silently. Henry, furious, attacked him but got injured badly. The two of them ran back to the road and jumped into their real, undamaged car. Sarah took the wheel this time and drove as fast as she could. But the black Mustang returned, chasing them again. They passed the cafe once, didn't stop. A minute later, the cafe appeared again. Then again, faster and faster, until Sarah realized the loop was shrinking. Meanwhile, Henry's condition was getting worse. He needed medical help now. So they finally pulled into the cafe. Sarah dragged Henry inside and demanded to know where John was. Callie pointed outside. John stood there, staring at the black car. When Sarah confronted him, he finally broke and told her the truth. Their accident had already happened. Their real bodies were still lying on the road, dying. The Sarah standing here was only their spirit, stuck between worlds. This place was the border between life and death, where people from fatal road accidents came before crossing over. He and his staff helped them eat their last meal, rest one final time, then move on. Sarah asked if the man in black was here to take them. John nodded. Yes, he was the one meant to guide the dead. Sarah went pale, but John explained she still had a chance, because the baby inside her was still alive and Henry was barely hanging on. Henry woke up, asking Callie if he was dead. She told him no, but he was dying fast. John explained that the man in black wanted to take both of them, but not the unborn child. That baby had not died yet. If Sarah wanted to save herself and Henry, she had only one chance left. Mark arrived then, asking John for Sarah's car keys. John grabbed the keys and handed them to him. Then John faced his boss and said he wouldn't hand over the unborn baby. His boss told him to do whatever he thought was right. John nodded to Mark, and Mark drove off fast. The man in black realized what they were doing and charged after him. Mark didn't hesitate. He turned the car around and accelerated straight at the dark figure. He knew if that creature survived, neither Sarah nor Henry would escape. The crash was brutal. Mark killed the man in black. And with that sacrifice, the story ends.